KOOL TV, Channel 10, Phoenix.
And now, from Arizona's largest and most respected broadcast news team, this is KOOL News 10.
Good evening. Arizona's 3 state universities may be facing substantial tuition hikes. This morning, the Board of Regents Finance Committee unanimously approved the hike, which would mean a $50 increase for resident students for the 1981-82 school year. Out-of-state students attending ASU and the U of A would pay an increase of $450. NAU students, $400 more. We went to the ASU campus tonight seeking student reaction to the increase.
I'm very outraged at the Board of Regents because I really didn't expect it to be such a big hike. Now, I understand, inflation and the recession and everything, and I wouldn't mind, say, small increments, every semester or every year, but I think $450 is a rather steep hike for out-of-state students.
I think it's a little unfair. 35% in the last couple of years is really too much. I mean, it's more than inflation, and I think we get hit the worst.
By being out-of-state students?
Yes, really.
I think if it's going to keep on going up like this, a lot of people might change their mind about going to college. But right now I'm an in-state student, and $50 isn't bad, but for out-of-state, I think a lot of people are going to change their mind about coming to ASU.
It doesn't bother me. $50 isn't that much, and then again, I don't pay for my tuition because I'm on a waiver. Yeah.
What do you think your friends will think of that?
I know a lot of people it hurt.
What is your reaction to the tuition hike?
Well, I think I don't care.
Everything's going up, and students are still poor. Okay. But you think it's really awfully high for you?
I think it is too high. Too high for the quality that ASU offers. There's other universities with just as much or equivalent to ASU is not as high.
The final decision on the tuition hike rests in the hands of the Board of Regents at their meeting tomorrow morning in Flagstaff. Bill?
Cruising is a popular pastime for a number of young people in our valley, but that pastime is not popular with everyone. With that in mind, a group of cruisers in Mesa are working with police on a program to stay on the street. Mary Hughes has details on that program. She's standing by with a live report. Mary?
Bill, this is Main Street in Mesa, but it could just as well be Main Street anywhere USA because, as you said, it's Friday night and that means cruising night for teenagers. But here in Mesa, it's developed into a problem. There have been complaints from merchants up along down the street on Main Street that there's been trash problems, some vandalism, and even some urinating in some of the merchants' doorways. That's a problem that concerned the merchants, and so they brought up before the City Council an ordinance. That was about a month ago, an ordinance that would prohibit parking along the street, which of course would have an effect on the amount of cruising that would be taking place along here. Well, that ordinance was set aside because a group of kids here in Mesa went before the council and said, look, we're going to straighten up the situation here along Main Street, and we're going to do something about this. Let's not kill cruising. It's a tradition. Let's walk over here because we've got a lot of these young leaders, interesting, huh? Who have band together, and they're here for a very special reason. This is Mark Kwiatkowski, not the usual place for you, huh, Mark?
No, normally I'm over on the corner over here. And just
cruising, huh? Why are you in this casket?
Well, we're trying to symbolize, the sign here says RIP Cruising 1980, question mark. We're trying to symbolize the fact that if people don't get with us and keep the streets clean and keep Main Street clean and keep everything cool, that we're going to lose Main Street. And we're trying to say, do you want it to die? And we don't want it to die. That's why we're here.
And you've had a lot of support from clergymen, from some business leaders, from the mayor, the city council. They don't want to see this end either necessarily.
Not really. We've had all the support in the world. Pastor Hahn here has been unbelievable in his help. The Mesa City Council. We've had several downtown merchants speak up and give us their support.
Martin, Pastor Hahn is here, and he is an important person in all this. Pastor Hahn, what have you got to say to us about this?
Well, I think there's some of the most wonderful kids I've ever met down here in the streets. They're just fantastic, and it's great working with them.
You don't want to see cruising end necessarily.
No, I think that this is it's a real function for the kids. They enjoy it. This is a part of their life. You know, the winter visitors and us older people, we like to watch cars go by. Well, that's what they like to do, too. I didn't realize this a month ago.
Okay, they don't want to see cruising rest in peace. What they want to see is it cleaned up, straightened up.
Right.
Tomorrow night there's going to be a meeting here in Mesa at the First Lutheran Church, correct? All the kids get together
And it's not a religious meeting. It's at my church just because it's a big building.
Pastor Hahn, good luck, and good luck to all you kids. Bill?
That sounds good, Mary. Thank you. As of tonight, John Harvey Adamson still is scheduled to go on trial next week in Tucson. Adamson has requested that his trial on charges he killed Phoenix reporter Don Bowles in a 1976 car bombing be moved out of Tucson because of pretrial publicity. But late this afternoon, a Pima County judge said no. Jury selection will begin Wednesday in Pima County Superior Court. Dana?
Lawmen say there will be no charges against the men who tried to smuggle 32 illegal aliens from El Salvador into the United States. The attempt was made in July, and 13 people died from exposure in the desert near Ajo. Lawmen decided to drop the charges after finding out the smugglers did all they could to keep the group together and alive. The Salvadorians say there were some abuses committed by the smugglers, but officials say they will never be able to prove that. And even if the abuses could be proved, they could have been committed by one of the smugglers who died. The Arizona Supreme Court has refused to reverse a previous order to transfer state prisoners from the Maricopa County Jail to the state prison at Florence. The order will relieve overcrowded conditions at the county jail. But State Corrections Chief Ellis McDougall says putting more prisoners into the state system means some inmates will have to be released prematurely. The Supreme Court order says any state prisoner in the county jail must be accepted by the state system within 10 days.
Iran's outgoing foreign minister had some sharp criticism for the country's new prime minister. The outspoken Saudi Ghazbazada said that Prime Minister Ali Rajai is not competent to run the country. He also said that solving the problem of the American hostages is vital to the survival of Iran's revolution. Well, it appears tonight that the Polish leader Edward Gieryk's reported heart attack may have been more political than physical. Mary Nasasin reports that he was replaced tonight as the leader of the Polish Communist Party.
Communist Party leader Edward Gierek failed to make this session of Parliament today. The official party line, he suffered a heart attack. And in an unprecedented late-night plenary session, the Central Committee voted unanimously tonight to replace Gierek with 53-year-old Stanislav Kania. Kania has been primarily responsible for security matters, but will now play an influential role in affecting Prime Minister Jacek Pinkowski's economic relief package. It is a package Pinkowski hopes will completely end the labor unrest of the last few weeks by introducing price controls on 47 basic food products. A 40 to 60% hike in meat prices last July helped trigger the strikes that nearly crippled the nation. Meat has been scarce for years in Poland, and a bad harvest this year may further lengthen the lines in supermarkets. Pinkowski hopes price controls will help offset those problems. There is considerable speculation in the capital tonight that Gierek's absence from Parliament and removal from office were the result not so much of bad health, but of the erosion of his power base. Whatever the reason, Gierek is out, and the government must now focus its attention on reviving the ailing economy of Poland. Mary Nissensen for CBS News, Warsaw.
Still to come, the fight over defense disclosures continues between President Carter and Ronald Reagan, and bad political news for John Anderson in Arizona. That story next.
I'm Madman Max from Carpet Seconds, and I'll sell you $10 yard carpet for $5 a yard. We bought an entire inventory from a large manufacturer.
You're crazy to do that.
We pay less, so you pay less at Carpet Seconds.
The Arizona Mexican-American Chamber of Commerce is concerned with Arizona and our nation's economy. Building small and large businesses helps establish a sound economic base. Support the Arizona Mexican-American Chamber of Commerce so that together we can help win the battle with inflation.
There are all kinds of licenses: to hunt, to fish, to fly, to marry. I'll bet you think this is just a driver's license, right? Wrong. It is also a license to live. See this spot right here? This is the organ donor square. By writing yes in this square when you are applying for your driver's license, you are giving a gift of life to someone awaiting a kidney transplant. That's why I call it a license to live. Won't you sign up to be a donor? Tell them Irma recommends it.
Beginning Monday, September 15th, many of your favorite daytime shows will be moving to new times on KOOL TV 10. The exciting John Davidson Show will move to 3 p.m., followed by the all-new version of To Tell the Truth. Then at 5 p.m., a live and fast-paced edition of KOOL News 10 will bring you up to date on what's happening. See it all beginning Monday, September 15th on KOOL TV 10.
Looking good together, looking good, looking good. You're at TV 10, you're looking
There are several keys to successful news reporting. Speed, dependability, and accuracy are among the most notable. KOOL News has added another key. She's Karen Key, the new pilot reporter of Skywatch 10. Karen is flying over Arizona to bring you a different perspective of the news. Join her and the KOOL News team at 6 and 10 on Channel 10.
100 voters who do not vote in next Tuesday's primary, and they only have 10 days in which to do it.
The Carter and Reagan political camps are still fighting tonight over defense disclosures. A White House aide described President Carter as extremely angry over Reagan's remarks yesterday that the administration deliberately leaked sensitive defense information to shore up the president's campaign. The flap has to do with the disclosure last month of U.S. development of the stealth aircraft, a plane invisible to radar. Well, in Washington, Defense Secretary Harold Brown was highly critical of Reagan's remarks.
As a scientist, I'm offended by Governor Reagan's cavalier attitude toward facts. And as a public official, I'm indignant at his reckless distortions.
But House Republicans were highly critical of Brown. Yesterday, when asked by a House subcommittee if President Carter had ordered him to reveal the stealth story, Brown replied, no comment. Of State Henry Kissinger to discuss foreign policy in advance of Reagan's six-state swing through the northern industrial states. After the meeting, Kissinger told reporters the program to develop radar-defeating technology was one of the Ford administration's most closely guarded secrets.
I learned about the stealth capability in the Ford administration when we gave an additional impetus to this technology, but we considered it one of the most important secrets that we try to keep very closely, and succeeded.
Kissinger said the leaking of such information disrupts the continuity of foreign policy. Dana?
Crime in the classroom is the subject of tonight's KOOL News editorial. Here's Homer Lane.
Last year, this country spent almost enough money repairing vandalized schools as it would have to pay for all the school books for every student in America. In 1979, over 100,000 teachers were assaulted. Crime in the schools has reached epidemic proportions. The vast majority of our students are in school to learn. Only a small percentage are disruptive, disorderly, and criminal. It is time for school officials and juvenile courts to embrace guidelines which will increase safety in the classroom. Your money pays for education, and you deserve to have quality teachers instructing in an atmosphere which fosters learning. Too many of your tax dollars are being wasted. Teachers are the first to admit that in the many schools, the student is being shortchanged because of the disruption of a few. It's time for all of us to become more involved and find out what we can do to help restore order in the classroom.
To share your opinion, write editor, KOOL Radio Television.
A tropical storm hits the Texas coast, and heavy rain tonight for the Tucson area. Len Davis will have those stories and the rest of the weather right after this.
Saturday at 8 p.m. on KOOL TV 10, Burt Reynolds and Catherine Deneuve star as mismatched lovers in Hustle on the CBS Saturday night movie. Then at 10, the KOOL News Weekend team comes your way with the latest on what's happening, followed at 10:30 by Bing Crosby in High Time, part one of the KOOL double feature. See it Saturday here on KOOL TV, Channel 10.
Looking good together, looking good, looking good. You and TV 10, you're looking good.
Over 6,000 runners participated last year, and this year's run promises to be even better. It's the 5th annual Phoenix North Bank 10,000-meter run, Sunday, November 2nd. The entry fee is $5 before October 19th. All proceeds will go to the Easter Seal Society. Entry blanks may be picked up at KOOL Television, the Phoenix General Hospital, the Runner's Den, or your local Coors distributor. That's the 5th annual Phoenix North Bank 10,000-meter run, Sunday, November 2nd at 9 a.m. Register now.
If you are involved in an accident, you are required by law to stop. Send for aid. Notify the nearest police authority. Render aid to the injured if you are trained to do so. Exchange information with other drivers. The Department of Public Safety can provide you with more complete information on what to do in case of an accident. Contact the local office of the Department of Public Safety or ask for a copy of the brochure from an officer.
Boy, it's been a long while since I climbed these bars, and it's not as easy as it used to be either. But for the kids enrolled in the Phoenix Urban League Head Start program, this playground is very important. It's all part of their learning and growing experience. Under the watchful eye and loving care of the Phoenix Urban League, these kids are really getting a good start in life. Without your help, this might not have been possible.
Len Davis, what do you figure the weather situation to be?
Well, in the Globe area at the present time, Bill, there's thunderstorms there. We can see the lightning from downtown Phoenix here. And the thunderstorms over in the Globe area are still developing, and they're moving north slowly. The potential for rain is very heavy, according to radar reports. And so if you're driving in that area, be sure and be careful around the washes, because they may very well be running water by morning. The high today at KOOL in downtown Phoenix, 99 degrees. This morning's low, 77. Normal for this date, 101 and 72. The record high, 113 in 1945. The record low, 61 in 1912. And so far this year, 5.83 inches of rain, leaving us with departure from normal by just a little over an inch. Currently in downtown Phoenix, the temperature reads 89 degrees, humidity 38%, barometer 29.89 and steady. The wind's too light to measure. Now, on the national map, only two areas of rainfall of any significance in the country, the southern Rockies and parts of Arizona. In the northwestern part of Arizona, there's potential for some heavy shower activity. Also in the northeastern portion between Kayenta and Cortez, Colorado, and northeast, or just east of Globe and northeast of Tucson in this area, there's also potential for heavy rain at the present time, and this thing is moving north. There's flash flood watches out for this area, so be careful if you're driving over there. The other area of rainfall is just off the Texas coast, where Tropical Storm Danielle is moving inland now, right along the Texas-Louisiana border, and they expect anywhere from 4 to 8 inches of rain to fall tonight. And remember now, a tropical storm is a storm where the winds are between 35 and 75 miles per hour. But the big thing is the rain. Bridge City, Texas, almost 8 inches of rain reported already, and Beaumont, 4.5, and Lake Charles, Louisiana, 1.5. Temperatures are fairly warm over there still, 100 degrees at Dallas-Fort Worth today, 95 tomorrow, if you can imagine, 95 with all the humidity that they're going to have. The warmest temperature in the nation today, 105 degrees at Gila Bend, and this morning's low, 27 at Jackson, Wyoming. So we're forecasting here scattered thunderstorms in the mountains and in the southeast over the next couple of days, in the northern part, eastern portion, and southeastern portion. Now, it looks like we're going to get an intrusion of dry air by Sunday, which will dry things out pretty well in the western part of the state and also in the southwestern desert, so central Arizona should get by without any activity. And as we mentioned, the thunderstorms in the Globe area at the present time are moving toward the north. 105 at Gila Bend was the warmest. This morning's low, 36 up at Alpine. It was 95 degrees at Safford this afternoon. Greater Phoenix can expect cloudy skies tonight with a low of 78 degrees because of the activity that was taking place east of us will prevent it from getting too cold tonight. And tomorrow will be sunny with a high of 103, still 78 degrees, but by Sunday, drier and 105, and the dry air should allow the temperature to come down just a little, Bill.
Well, that's worth something. Thank you, Len. The temperatures may be going down soon, but don't expect the same for inflation. The latest wholesale price index figures worked out to a compounded annual inflation rate of just over 20%. Wholesale prices last month jumped 1.5%, and the increase was led by rising food prices. Those prices will eventually be passed on to the consumer. News of the inflation rate sent prices lower on Wall Street. The Dow Jones Industrials fell more than 7 points to close at 940.96. Dana?
The price of gold was mixed on world money markets. The precious metal was up slightly in London and Zurich, but dropped more than $2 in New York to close at $648.75 an ounce. On July 1st, Phoenix residents began paying a sanitation fee for sanitation service, including uncontained and contained trash pickup and for just keeping the city clean. The standard family household is to pay a $2 monthly fee, which the city says is half the cost of what it costs the city to provide the service. The city council says they made the move in an effort to help balance the budget. But since they took the action, some problems have arisen. Different people have requested to be exempt from the fee, saying they'd dispose of their trash themselves and didn't need the city's help and therefore shouldn't have to pay for it. And the wording of the sanitation ordinance allows that. In their policy session Monday, the Phoenix City Council will make a move to clean up their problem. With me here in the newsroom tonight is